the previous video, we saw the timeline of registration for existing dealers. Moving on to the next category of new dealers based on threshold, mandatory registration or voluntary. So we've seen what the threshold was. Rest of India 20 lakh, special category 10 lakh. And we've seen the mandatory registration. We had 13 categories, but we'll be dealing with only 11, not with casual and non-resident taxable person. Again, these new dealers can fall under any of the three categories as below. They're already under one of the categories, that is as on date. It's a current situation. They're already falling under any of these categories, but they're not existing taxpayers. The second and third are basically forward looking. The second category is they're not currently liable, but maybe within a year or two or at some point in future they will become liable. They'll start falling under any of the three categories. Their aggregate turnover will cross the threshold, or they'll start getting engaged in businesses under the mandatory registration category, or the third category, voluntary registration. They'll never be liable, but they would want to take up voluntary registration. What are the timelines for all of these three categories? Well, the first one is super simple. They'll have to apply for registration within 30 days from the date the GST comes into force. The second category, they'll have to apply for registration within 30 days from the date on which the dealer becomes liable to register. Either they cross the threshold limit or they fall under any of the mandatory category. Voluntary registration, well, it's a voluntary scheme, so there are no rules relating to timeline. There are no time limits. So let's leave the third one aside. Let's check out the first two. There are certain benefits in getting registered on time. Of course, there are certain disadvantages if you miss the timeline. That's true with all deadlines, and it's true for GST as well. Let's check out what the benefits are. If you're a dealer liable to register under any of the category and you have taken registration by applying within 30 days, you filed your application within 30 days, whether you're an existing taxpayer, you filed your application within 30 days that the GST came into force, or you're a new dealer and you filed an application within 30 days, you became liable to register. Then the effective date would be, what is this effective date? The effective date of registration. You will get your registration certificate effective from the date you became liable to register. While if you've not filed application within 30 days, then your effective date of registration would be the date that the registration has actually been granted. What does this mean? What is the significance of the effective date of registration? It means that you can claim input tax credit from this day onwards. You can collect tax from your customer from this day onwards. Let's say you're a dealer liable to register. You became liable from 1st of July 2017. You filed your application on 15 July 2017. So you filed your application within 30 days of registration. So you became liable on 1st July, date of application is 15 July, and the date the registration is granted, that is, you get your registration certificate from the ministry on 10th of August 2017. But since you followed the timeline, your effective date of registration is 1st July 2017. That is 1 month, 10 days, 40 days in advance from the date the registration was actually granted. So for 40 more days, you can claim input tax credit. That could be a huge savings for you depending on your volume. Now let's take the second case. Same situation, you became liable to register on 1st July 2017. you file your application on 1st August 2017, that is after 30 days. Then your effective date of registration would be the date the registration certificate was granted to you, that's 10th of August 2017. So you have lost out on those 40 extra days where you could claim input tax credit or collect tax from your customers. Now coming to voluntary registration, where there's no time limit, all you need to know is that the effective date of registration for such a dealer would be the date of order of registration, that is the grant date. So dealer can claim ITC and collect tax from this day onwards. In the next video, we'll check out the provisions of timeline for registration for casual and non-resident taxable person.